Welcome back to our guitar course. This is week 8, video 1, and if you're watching this video, that probably means that you've made it through this course for all 8 weeks, and you're starting your last week with us. And I hope you've learned a lot and enjoyed a lot of things, and this week we have a little bit more to do with some strumming and some chords, and we want to just make our music sound as complete as possible. And so we're going to talk about something that's very important to music. It's called meter. Meter is the idea that we have some beats that are stronger and some beats that are less strong. It's the idea of what we get when we listen to music and we hear a heavy beat and a light beat. An example would be like a waltz, where it's in 3/4 time, which we haven't actually done, but you emphasize beat 1, that's the heavy beat, and then beats 2 and 3 are kind of lighter beats. And it's this down, up, up, down, up, up. I can try playing it a little bit. It goes like this. Do you hear how beat 1 is a little bit stronger and a little bit more weighty than beats 2 and 3? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so that's kind of the feel that it gets. And that's an important thing in music. Oftentimes, when you're able to get the correct notes, the correct rhythm, and then finally keep a steady tempo, it's good, but it all sounds kind of the same, and it almost sounds like a computer is playing it. And that's not what music is. We have to add other things into the picture to get a full musical sound. So we're going to work a little bit with meter today, and we're going to do it with how we strum. So a little bit more with our right hand. Today I want to do some strumming patterns. Now, when we first started learning chords, we learned just plain old downstrokes. We went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we learned eighth notes. We went 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, and things like that. And so we added some rhythm to how we strum. Well, today we are going to have a continual pattern with our strumming, but we're going to have some parts of the pattern that we emphasize different or more than other parts. And so one of the easiest ones to do is very simple, and you're going to emphasize beats 2 and 4 more than beats 1 and 3. And so I'm going to play this on a G chord, and it's going to sound like this. I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? Now let's do a couple things to learn this one. This is our first strumming pattern. It's all eighth notes. But let's just try to emphasize the more heavy beats. So we're going to try clapping it first. And I want you to clap on beats 2 and beats 4. And so I'll count, and you try it with me. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay, so what you were just doing, you emphasized beat 2 and beat 4. Now, there's another name for this one. This one is called the backbeat, where we're emphasizing the backbeat of beats 2 and beats 4. If you listen to a lot of rock and roll, you're going to hear heavy beats on 2 and 4, or at least the snare drum on 2 and 4. You'll usually hear the bass drum on beats 1 and 3. And so now, let's try this in the rhythm that we're actually going to strum our guitar on. And so it goes like this. Watch first. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Can you try that with me? So it's all eighth notes, and you can see it on your sheet. It's the first strumming pattern on it. And so here we go. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's try it a little slower. One more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? All right, now let's try it on the guitar. You're going to play a G chord, and we're going to do it for 4 measures in a row. Emphasize beats 2 and 4. Make them stronger and heavier and weightier than beats 1 and 3. Also, with your right hand, everything is going to be a downstroke. Okay? Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right. Great. Great. Now let's try that with a drum beat. I'm going to add a little bit of a rhythm here to help us going, to help us keep going with this, and so that we're really, really punching beats 2 and beats 4. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. There we go. All right. So hopefully you're able to get that one. Now you're wondering, why are we doing this? Well, when we're strumming along with songs, it's important to be able to strum along in ways that really match the song. And so later this week we'll have 2 songs that we'll use these different strumming patterns with. Let's go on to our next one. The next one, you're going to emphasize beat 1, beat 4, and then in the middle of that you're going to emphasize the and of 2. And so when we clap it, the parts that are emphasized go like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is actually a very, very common pattern that we get in rock music. It's a very unique sound to it. It has, and it kind of really gets stuck in our head with it. Can you try clapping the strong beats with me? Okay, on beat 1, the and of 2 and 4. Here we go. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, good. That's kind of a hard one in some ways because you have to get on the and of 2 there. So let's try it. Let's do all the 8th notes of the measure, and then we'll try it with the guitar, and then we'll try it with the track. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Let's try it on the guitar. Now let's try it a little differently. Let's just try the emphasized beats, the heavy ones. So we'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like that, where we're just strumming that G chord with the downstroke on the heavy beats. Try it with me. I'll count, you play along. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, now let's try just the guitar on the G chord with all the 8th notes in there. 1 and 2 and ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, hopefully that went pretty good. If you need to stop the video right now, do so and practice that. When we're strumming, when we want to emphasize a beat, we simply push down on the strings a little harder. That versus, see, I can play loudly or softly depending on how hard I strike the strings. Let's try it with the drum track now. Here we go. 2, 3, go. That's good. All right. That went pretty fast, huh? Okay, we'll go over these all at the end of the lesson too. All right, let's learn one more strumming pattern for this lesson. And we're going to apply these to all the songs that we do in the rest of the week. This one's a little bit tricky though. We have to add a new type of rhythm on this one, and it's called 16th notes. So far we know whole notes, half notes, quarter notes. We know 8th notes. That's what we've been strumming all today. Then we're going to learn 16th notes. And a 16th note is worth half of an 8th note. So if you're good at math, you can see your fractions kind of getting half smaller by half every single time. So the way this pattern goes, listen to it first. I'll play it. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I add those 2 16th notes right at the end of the measure. You can see that on your sheet too. And the way we count this is we go 4 and a. Okay, so 1 and 2, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. And that and a 1 really kind of leads you back into the next measure, and it kind of pushes you forward a little bit. So clap it first. Just the strong beat. So we're going to do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1, like that. Ready? With me. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1. Let's try that one more time. Let's clap it first. With me. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. Okay, so every time it kind of leads back into measure 1 by doing those extra 16th notes at the end, and it's a pretty effective way of doing that. Something you'll frequently find yourself doing on guitar, even after you've discovered other strumming patterns. It moves back into beat 1 or into the next measure, beat 1. Let's try it on guitar. Here we go. Let's try the G chord. Let's start just strumming the heavy beat. So the 1, the and of 2, and then the and 4 of 4. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. Now, let's try that on guitar now. So let's start with the G chord. Now remember, on this one, when we get to the and, we have to go down, up. And then, of course, beat 1 is down. So it's real quick on that one. That's why we do down, up, down on that one. So it goes like this. 1 and da, 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 da. Okay? With me. G chord. Right hand ready. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. And 1 and 2. Okay. All right, let's try it with the track now, and we'll get the drums in there as well. Here we go. Ready, go. All right. So that was that one. That's kind of a hard one. That'll take some practice. We'll get it back at the end of the lesson here. Let's go on, and we have one more strumming pattern to learn today. It's a little simpler one, a little simpler version of the strumming pattern 3, where we do quarter notes. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1. This is usually something we would do for maybe a slower song, or we could even do it for a faster song, but it would be hard to get the 16th notes in there. So usually more on a slower song. All right, let's clap it first. Let's see if you can keep your eyes on the music while you do this and clap it with me. That's sight. First sight. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1. All right. So what you just did was called sight reading. It's where you read a melody or a rhythm or a song for the first time, and you do your best at it. And you don't always get everything right, but then you have the ability to go back and practice, and you gain kind of the perspective of the song with that one. Okay, let's try that on the guitar now. So let's start on the G chord. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1. Okay. All right, let's try that with the drum track now. Here we go. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3. All right. Very good. So those are our 4 strumming patterns that we want to learn this week and practice. So let's go over them again, and we'll do it with the drum track. So, but let's think about them each before we start playing them. So let's go back to number 1. Number 1, we emphasize beats number 2 and 4. By the way, on the sheet you can see it. I have a sideways V. It's called an accent, and that is the beat, the part of the beat that you're supposed to accent or make heavy, so that you can hear the meter of the song. So here we go. Let's try accented pattern number 1. 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, hopefully that one's kind of easy. That's actually a really handy one, and most of the time we're going to use that one. With other songs, though, we'll have to do different things, though. All right, let's go on to accented pattern number 2. This one, we emphasize 1, the and of 2, and 4. Get ready on your G. Right hand ready. Here we go. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so there is accented pattern number 2. Let's go on to number 3. Think about it first. Look where your accents are. You have 1, the and of 2, and then the 16th notes and on 4. Okay? Here we go. Let's try it with the drums. 2, ready, go. And 1. Okay, last one, number 4. Let's go on with this one. Remember, we have quarter notes on this one, and we still do 1, and then the and of 4. So getting back into measure 1 there. So it's a big way of pushing the music forward. It makes it have movement and momentum to it. Here we go. Here's the drum track. 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3. All right. So there's a link right here to go back and practice these 4 patterns. Practice them a few more times, at least 2 more times, and see if you can learn these patterns so that in our next video we can go on to the songs. Go for it.